So today's question is, do main car dealerships really care about you once you've bought that car and driven off the forecourt? And in today's changing world, both consumer behaviour and in terms of the future of the automotive world, do car dealerships actually have a future? These are the questions I'm going to ask and hopefully get you involved and answer in today's Golf Diaries. Hello and welcome back to the Golf Diaries. If you're into your VWs, car care, car shows, detailing, all that kind of good stuff, then hopefully you've come to the right place. So if you like what follows, please like, subscribe. You know the score. Everybody on YouTube asks you to do the same thing. So why would I be any different? But yeah, please do. It helps the channel and it's very much appreciated. So we will be moving back to stories of the Golf and the other Golf over there, as well as the Caddy in the coming videos, as well as I've got quite a few detailing products in for review as well, so all exciting stuff coming up on the channel. However, today a question occurred to me recently and I thought long and hard about filming this video because, as you will see, there's a couple of personal examples, personal experiences that I've had with car dealerships recently, which have made me think long and hard about whether I really want to deal with main dealers anymore, but also whether in the changing world where consumers are buying more and more stuff online and with the automotive changes that are being kind of thrust upon us in terms of the change to electric and all the other stuff, which again, there's a subject for another video there. Do car dealerships actually have a future? What is their future role going to be? So if you don't mind, I'm going to give you a couple of examples of experiences that I've had both with VW and with Land Rover, because as well as the VWs that you've seen on the channel, I also have a Land Rover Defender. So I won't bore you too long with the examples because obviously they're quite personal to me. So it would be wrong of me to talk about everything in a public forum. But it just highlighted the questions which I will go on to after these examples and hopefully get you involved. And if it's something that you feel you want to kind of look into a bit more with you, I would love to get some people on from the main dealers and from the brands in time and get their thoughts on the future of car retail. So we'll see where it goes. So very briefly, and I'm just looking down here because I've got a list of notes. I want to make sure that everything I give you now is factual and I don't want to mislead in any way whatsoever. So the Caddy went in for its MOT March, April 2023. And as I said, it's taken me a while to decide whether to do this video or not. But yeah, went in for its MOT and it failed, which is always a bit embarrassing. But basically it failed because the two front indicators weren't working. Now, I was in a rush that morning. Normally I check the lights before I take a vehicle to an MOT, but I forgot, simple as that. And I was a little bit shocked that both of them, not just one, both. So we tried changing the bulbs and the MOT station have been really helpful trying to help me get it fixed so that they could put it back through its MOT there and then. Obviously this is a vehicle that I use for work, so it's really important that it's not off the road for too long. I need it to make a living. But with no luck, new bulbs made absolutely no difference whatsoever. But what we did find is the longer we sat there with the lights on, because obviously the indicators are part of the headlight unit, smoke started coming up through the headlights or the offside headlight, which is always a little bit alarming when you see smoke coming out of the electrics of your car. So we switched everything off very quickly and clearly there was a major electrical fault at hand, or so we thought. So anyway, had to fail the MOT. On the way home, stopped at a local auto electrician. They couldn't work out what the problem was either. They didn't have the right diagnostic equipment. They didn't have VAGCOM or anything like that. I then took it to a local independent garage just to see if they had the software, because I don't have the software. And no, they couldn't help either. They just changed bulbs again, which seemed a bit pointless, but they were trying to help, and I appreciate the fact they were trying to help, but to no avail. So begrudgingly, I had to contact the local VW main dealer. Now I say begrudgingly because I had kind of had a few less than encouraging dealings with them in the past, but I thought, well, I need my vehicle. I need to get it through its MOT, and they're going to have the diagnostic software for the electrics. So basically, my local dealer, who shall remain nameless, refused to see the van. I repeat that, they refused to see the van because it was modified. Now, I tried to explain to them that I've had the suspension lowered. That is the only mechanical modification to that van. The ECU hasn't been touched, the engine hasn't been touched, the brakes haven't been touched, nothing has been touched, the electrics haven't been touched, just the suspension lowered, which will have no effect on the electrics. But because it was modified, they refused to see it, even though it's my business vehicle, and VW did not want to help me get that back on the road. First disappointment. So I spoke to every VW commercial vehicle dealer within a 150-mile radius of my home, and none of them were able to see it quicker than 2 months. So they were basically saying, you are going to have to keep your business vehicle, a commercial vehicle from VW, off the road for 2 months. Now, that's not an option, you know, that is really not an option. As much as I love talking to you guys on YouTube, I do have a living to make. That was not an option. But this is where it gets interesting, because whilst I was waiting, I just happened to mention to the guys over at TMG, which those of you who are regulars on the channel know that's where I bought the van from, that I was having these issues. Now, bear in mind, the van was out of warranty. I'd long since paid for it. I had no intentions of buying another van. And Anton at TMG really didn't have to help me. I only spoke to him because I thought he might know somebody who, excuse me, playing with my hat, it keeps popping up. It's really cold in here. So yeah, I only spoke to him because I wanted to pick his brain to see if there was anybody he felt I should be talking to that might be able to sort this problem for me. What followed shocked me. Now, I'm not affiliated with TMG. I'm not, I have no reason to say anything positive or negative about them, or anyone else for that matter. But what followed blew my mind. This small independent specialist who sells vans, that's all he does, he modifies and sells vans, sent me his personal or his business laptop through the post with a courier. I got it. He then went on a call with me, took control of the laptop, went into the diagnostics, sorted the issue. Lo and behold, I had indicators, and the next day I got it MOT'd and I was back on the road. It took Anton 5 minutes once his laptop was switched on. And he went to the effort of sending me his laptop to do that. He didn't have to. He didn't have to. If he'd just said, oh, I don't know, mate, speak to so-and-so, I'd have been grateful. But he went above and beyond. Now, as I said, I'm not affiliated with TMG in any way whatsoever, but I cannot recommend them enough. I'm digressing slightly, but I think this does lead into my question about where do main dealers fit? Because when you've got specialist dealers, specialist independents who actually care about people like us that are car enthusiasts, van enthusiasts, where does the VW main dealer fit into this, other than just selling you a vehicle to start with? So anyway, I cancelled my 2-month appointment with VW, and if anyone from VW is watching this by any chance, please contact me. Please, I welcome feedback, and I'd be more than happy to discuss this because it's absolutely shocking that a main brand is happy to let a small business go without their only vehicle or their only business vehicle. They were willing to let me go without that for 2 months, and they didn't know I had a replacement vehicle sat here waiting to be used. For all they knew, my business was on hold for 2 months. And it was a 5-minute fix. Go figure. I appreciate garages are busy. They can't just drop a hat and bring you in. And although I wish someone would drop this hat because it's driving me mad, but they can't just drop everything, just to keep you on the road. I get that. But 2 months is different. If they'd said bring it in next week, I'd have been happy. But anyway, so that's example number 1. So example number 2 is the Land Rover Defender. Now this is one of the classic Defenders as opposed to the new Pretender Defenders or the Ineos copy Defender. Both lovely vehicles before anyone from Ineos or Land Rover gets in touch and says, how dare you? Both lovely vehicles, but they're not a Defender, really. I mean, come on, they're not. So a real Defender, and because it's a bit of a classic and because they're kind of going up in value, I've been trying to keep the factory service history on it. So booked it in, needed an MOT as well, and booked it in. I was given a quote of about £350, which I thought for everything was reasonable for a main dealer. And so I booked it in. The day before it was due to go, I got a call from the Land Rover dealer, who shall remain nameless on the video. But Land Rover, if you're watching, I'm happy to discuss it with you. And told that actually the quote was wrong and it was going to cost roughly 5 times that amount. So obviously that's a big jump, that is a big jump. And so I asked for a justification as to why the sudden jump in quote, and it's because they quoted me for the wrong service. whatever. So yeah, obviously I queried that with them and pushed back a little bit, but I needed the Defender for that weekend. I needed the MOT and it was booked in. So I thought, you know what, I know, I'm stupid. I booked it in and said, yeah, okay, just do it, just get it done. And I dropped it off. I was told they'd have a quick inspection of it, which they did. The service receptionist then came and told me that actually, as well as the highly inflated quote, there was a load of things that would fail its MOT. And she gave me a list of things that would fail its MOT. Surprised me, because there was things there that I knew weren't particularly wrong. One of them was that the rear, a minor thing was that the rear wiper blade was coming off, which I knew about, and I'd got a replacement in the car. But again, in a rush, I'm always in a rush, that's just me. I forgot to put it on before I went. So I said, look, it's in there, you can put it on, or if you're going to charge me a lot of money for putting it on, I'll go and put it on. It takes all of 10 seconds on the Defender. She said, oh, no, that's fine, you've got it, we'll put it on, and that's that. But there was lots of other things that apparently were MOT failures. The quote had doubled again, so we're now talking north of £3,000 for a service and for an MOT. Quite significantly north of £3,000, in fact. I pushed back on that and said, I don't believe all of those things are MOT failures, and I don't believe all of those things need doing. I actually said, can we check with the MOT tester to see what's a failure and what's not? And I was told, and I quote, no, we can't do that because that is, that is prejudicing the test. Okay, whatever. So anyway, I pushed back a little bit, to say the least, on that. And long story short, I agreed to leave the car with them because obviously they had to order some parts in. This is 40 miles away from my home. I have no public transport to get home. They didn't offer me a courtesy car. I asked for a courtesy car and there wasn't one available. I had absolutely no way of getting home until my wife finished work and she came and got me. I was told that the vehicle would be started work on the Monday once the parts arrived. I rang on the Monday, no, the parts aren't here. Rang on the Tuesday, the parts are here, but I'm not sure when we're going to start on it. I rang on the Wednesday, the parts are here. We might start on it today, but we might not. It might be tomorrow. I rang on the Thursday, and at this point, I really lost my rag and asked to speak to somebody completely different because I was getting nowhere with the person I was talking to. So I'm going off on a little bit of a rant here, which I'm trying not to, but I'm just so annoyed that we as consumers have to put up with this kind of service. And maybe I'm just unlucky. If I, please tell me about your experiences too. So anyway, on the Friday, so a week after they first took it in, I eventually went and got my vehicle back. I was told at the time that I'd be sent a survey to fill in, a customer satisfaction survey. Surprise, surprise, I never got sent the survey. I think they realised what kind of response they would get from me. So, a very disappointing experience. Now, here's the kicker. Remember that windscreen wiper I told you about, the blade that was falling off? Even I knew that was an MOT failure. Well, guess what? They never changed the wiper blade. It was still hanging off, and apparently it passed its MOT. But anyway, there are lots of other little intricacies to that story, but I think I've gone on for long enough. You get the picture. So this brings us back to the main question. What is the purpose of a main vehicle dealer? Yes, they sell you cars, but then the aftercare of that car should be, and traditionally has been, part of what they are there to provide. Now, okay, I didn't buy the Land Rover or the Caddy from those particular VW and Land Rover dealers. However, they are full service history, they're recorded on their systems, they are a VW, they are a Land Rover. You know, I'm willing to spend good money to get the repair done, to get the service done, to get the MOT done. And yet I'm given the runaround whilst being kept in the dark a lot of the time. The other thing that amazed me slightly, and maybe this is just me being naive, is when I looked into it, the Land Rover dealers' service receptionists, according to their vacancies that are advertised on their website, are paid by commission. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, if I hadn't have pushed back and I had been willing to pay north of £3,000 for repairs, which clearly I didn't need because I didn't have them and the vehicle's working. It went through its MOT, albeit with the wiper blade issue. How many people do just pay that? How many people, and is it because that service receptionist is on commission? I don't know, and I'm not casting dispersions, and I'm not accusing people of anything. These are just questions from an unsatisfied customer. So I have nothing but respect for people that work in car dealerships, genuinely. I used to work in a truck dealership myself, so I've been in their situation many times, and I've had angry customers and happy customers. So I try not to rant at them. I certainly understand that they're working within processes and systems. But what is the future for them? What is the future for car retail? Now, I'm a marketer by trade. One of the things I do is work with businesses to look at their markets, look how they're changing, look how the consumers are changing, look at how you can get hats to fit big heads. So I understand that, these retailers have to move with the times. Now, part of it is we've got an online consumer now. Online car sales are rising. The number of people, the likes of us aside, because we're enthusiasts, so I for one will always want to test drive a car, but if you just want a car to do the school run in or to go to work in or whatever, then you probably don't need to test drive a car. You can just buy one online. You can buy one from a leasing company. You can buy one direct from brands online. And that is the future. That's the way it's going. And with the move to electric, maybe the need for the service receptionists and the service teams and everything is going to reduce as well, because are we going to get to the point where all our cars in the future are serviced like Anton sorted my Caddy? Literally, you just plug it into a computer connection. There you go, you're online. Someone 100 miles away does something to their computer and your car's now ready to go again. I don't know, but you can see a day where that would happen. So surely my question is, service dealers of the world, main dealerships of the world, you need to be looking after us now, because we're the customers that are going to stay with you and help you through that transition. We're the customers, people like us watching channels like this, that are petrol heads. We are not going to move. Well, I can't speak for you, but I'm not going to move to electric cars until I absolutely have to. And I'll probably end up turning this into an electric car as well with a conversion kit. But I will cling on to the internal combustion engine for as long as I can. I'm a petrol head. Now, for my day-to-day driver, yeah, I'll probably have an electric car. That's the way it's going to go, and it does make sense on a number of fronts. But if you look after us now, brands, dealers, you look after us now, and we'll stick around. We will stick around as long as we don't feel we're being ripped off, taken advantage of, or just left in the dark, and that we have access to a decent level of service when it's needed, not just when we walk in with a nice big fat check to buy a new car, but actually when we take a car into their dealers and ask for help. You look after us and we'll look after you. But it doesn't seem that's happening. This isn't just isolated to me. It's a story I hear many times. So please let me know what your thoughts are. What experiences have you had of main dealers? The future is looking good for the likes of Anton at TMG because he gets customer service, he gets the market, and he's basically supplying a need that people like us have. He's got to sell hats. Anton, sell hats, please. But yeah, it's a fascinating question, and maybe I've gone on a little bit too long, and maybe you fell asleep 5 minutes ago. I don't know. But please let me know your thoughts. And let's take this conversation a little bit further, and let's see if we can get some answers from the automotive world as to what their plans for the future really are. And I'll leave you with this final thought. VW, if you're watching this, I love you. I've got a channel based around VW. I've got 2 classics here. I've got a Caddy outside. I love you. But come on, guys, 2 months for a small business without access to a vehicle. I leave you with this thought, VW. If your dealer network couldn't fit me in to fix 2 electrical bulbs that weren't working, how on earth are they going to manage with fully electric vehicles? Because if indicators confuse them, what chance? I'm being facetious. I apologise, but you get the idea. So come on, get involved. As I said, everything I've just said is factual. So there is nothing there that is at all contentious. It's just my opinion. It is only my opinion and nothing but my opinion. But yeah, I'd love to hear yours. So anyway, we'll be back to detailing soon. And if you want to see the Caddy, I'll leave a link to the Caddy introduction video here. And that's enough from me. Goodbye for now.